we were aware about the withdrawal or suspension of the opposition from the meeting of the mechanism, which has been also resolved. There are some certain issues, and all of us we were aware about this. That is the simple matter concerning the delayment of the agreement. Because the agreement went for 3 years, we are moving slowly. So what we said last time also is not the breakdown of the agreement. It's for us to move forward, to speed up the implementation of security arrangement with the backbone of the agreement itself. I think our leadership in the country, the parties, has resolved to agree on the command structure, to unify them. So, as the opposition, when we said also we found, all of you were aware that we take the second position in every institution. That should not be also a problem. That should not be an obstacle. We can move the country forward. What is important here is we are looking forward to the leadership of the party to speed up the unification of the command, which I think will happen this week. And after that, we come up with the timetable as said by the presidential advisor before, the chair of the NTC. The mechanism come back once again, and hopefully, after the unification of command, the JDB, JTC will come up with the plan with the timetable to make sure that the forces are graduated. There are some issues of food sometimes because all these things need resources. You need to have resources to push the program forward. And we are aware also about the agreement itself. There is a commitment agreement that will be the addendum because it was signed. It was mediated by the Sudan, who are one of the guarantor of the peace agreement. That agreement also needs implementation. The mechanism will come back and work. They will also work on the allocation of the directors general as is stimulated there in that agreement.
الكان باكر الوحيد الغوط والوحيد القيادة العامة كتمت الآن في كل واحد من دابت سو كان انت دابت من آيو ولا من سوا أتمشي هناك انت ما تكون دابت بتاع المعرضة تكون دابت بتاع دولة الجنوب كن نقدم دولة الجنوب كن نقدم بلدنا المسألة الأول دير نحكي لكم أيها الضباط الأدب الأول ده مسألة بتاع جنوب السودان ده مسألة بتاع شخصي واحد من واحد القاعد في الجنوب مسألة بتاع جنوب السودان والمسألة بتاع المواطن بتاع جنوب السودان يعود مهم بتاعنا كيعود أدبنا رفعنا سلامة 83 لقات سنة 2005 ده مسألة جنوب ده كلام الأول مواطن بتاع جنوب السودان ده لازم يكون مرتاح ويدور بري يكون زي مواطن في العالم دير ناكل لكم المشكلة عندنا ده مشكلة ما له حل كما فرض أننا نراجع نفوذنا من 83 لقاد يوم الليلة ده حاجة ما له نتيجة ما في دول ماشي بيتبلان ولا في دول ماشي بيتبلان أني دايرين استقرار بتاع الجنوب ودايرين استقرار بتاع المواطن بتاعنا في كل مواطن في جنوب السودان يرجع لمناطق بتوع الأصل ياو ده حاجة عندنا نقول لكم أيوة ضباط إذا كان في دابت عنده مشكلة هيكون مشكلة لنفسه كنيت ما قادر العمل هيكون مشكلة لنفسك برا كما يكون مشكلة للمعارضة ولا للحكومة يعود دير نالكم نتم الباقي في قيادة العامة كجي والبوليس مش يتم الشغل بتوعهم في مال البوليس وسجون في مال بتوعهم وناشونال سكيورتي في مال بتوعهم وشكرا لكم.
نحن جماعة سمينا كله كلام أخوانا زي JMEC وسيد سام وسمينا كلام أخوانا في القيادة العسكرية. نحن الآن ماشيين عشان نحن الشيء قمنا به في سنتين لأن خلص في أقل من شهر لا يكفي نحن نطلب من الأطراف اتفاقية سلام يمشي غور مع قائد بتاعه يجيب الكشف بدل فرصة ممكن ما ندي جاب للناس المشاكل والناس نقول كلام غير حقيقي عشان ما يقول لنا ويناك. نحن نريد نكون ننفذ الشيء اتفقنا عليه بدل فرصة ممكن وبعدها نواصل بعد نحن طلعنا فيه قرارات بعد كده نزور الناس يمشي تجهيز لمعسكرات لتقوية القوات الموجود في معسكرات لفترة طويلة جدا عشان بعد نرتب دفعة ثانية لدخول في معسكرات. ونحن نحن نشكر حكومة السودان بكل مجهود الكبير والدعم والرحلات والسهرات الليلية عشان وصلنا في مناطق زي ده. من حقه يجي معنا عند الأخوان إذا كان في عدم استقرار في الجنوب معنا عدم استقرار في السودان، وإذا كان في عدم استقرار في السودان عدم استقرار في الجنوب. نحن لازم نكمل مع بعض الأمن القومي حقنا مشترك بهمنا استقرار في بلدنا. انتم عارفين نحن الايام الفات المواطن حصل له خوف ورعب، لكنه كده الناس ما ضاعوا ورق والشعب القيادة جلسوا بين الرئيس والنائب الأول خلاص الآن الشارع بقى تغير. الآن خلاص السلام جه عشان نكمله لازم يتم تكوين القيادة العسكرية بالسرعة بقرارات كل الوحدات الأمنية في البلد. ويتغير هنا بعد نكمل بيكون نحن ما عندنا حاجة في الجنوب إلا نتفل بالسلام. نحن خلاص نتحقق السلام ونعمل احتفال كبير وننادي كل الناس قاعد رؤساء قاعد يشارك معنا باحتفال نحن نفذنا أمريك لنا في اتفاقية السلام. يبدو لنا نحن فيه القوانين نكلم بتاع البرلمان وكيف نقعد نحن طرح اتفاقية نقيم فترة بتاع انتخابات حل بيجهز لنا والما بيجهز لنا ده كله بقعد القيادة يوصل فيه الأولون يجي فيه قرار. قرار يجيب القيادة بعدها انتم زادوا أساقط ما عندكم تاريخ ويقول تنفذ تعليمات بتجي من الفوق في انتخابات بعد كم سنة يقول لكم في انتخابات بعد شهر يقول لكم. أفضل الآن نحن أول شهور في أسبوع جديدة عجين نحن نقدم ميزانية بتاع شهور حقنا ده بتاع سنة جديدة ولازم نقعد فيه وسكرتاري بكلمكم الناس يجي يقعد فيه كل مكانك يجي يدافع عنكم قاصدة أقوال في دي نحن يا جماعة شغله كل نحن كان أقوال وما جهزنا دي ما في فايدة عليه. نحن لازم مع أولوية نجهز دي قبل تخرج القوات. نحن كل أفغانيا موجود في الدولة نسكروا الأقوال في دي عشان يجهز عمله وتجهز منطقة بتاعه عشان يقدر يجهز يستقبل الناس الغير ما يكون في معسكرات بتاع تخريج القوات. عشان نحن يا جماعة سلامنا حاجة كبيرة جدا نتعامل فيه كلنا نكمل مع بعض ونتعاون مع بعض عشان نقدر بلدنا يستمر. ما تقول حنو خلاص تخريجي خلاص انتهينا، لا في حاجات كثيرة بيحصل فيه. نحن لازم نكون شاهدين علم وبعد كده ما يكون في نقاش. نحن جلسة الليلة ده عشان نحن كلنا رجعنا للشؤون القديم ورجعنا لوين حقنا ونحن ماشيين نفذ اتفاقية. وتقول هذا ده كل رسالة هدينا قدمنا للمواطنين في جنوب السودان انه الخوف الموجود ما في خوف. نحن شغالين في جن واحد وماشيين ننفذ كل ما اتفق عليه القياده ونمشي عليه. ونحن نشكركم على حضوركم ونشكركم على اهتمامكم على كذا السلام وصبركم لأن ما وصلنا هنا مرة وصلنا فيه وده مجهوداتكم وده دعمكم للسلام.
First of all, I want to thank you, Honorable Tut, for this initiative of making this happen. As you know, we as JMEC have always been saying that the backbone of this agreement is Chapter 2. And this is a great breakthrough for Chapter 2. And I want to thank you, and through you, I want to thank the President and the First Vice President, and also the Sudan leadership, which is eager leadership, that has made this happen. My brothers, generals, this is something that is very important for this country. And as you know, without unified forces, you cannot be able to move forward. This is the most important thing, and I think all of us, we should focus, each one of us, to ensure this succeeds. I want to mention here in front of the chair that one of the challenges that we have found is the funding of these mechanisms. And I hope that this time now, there will be funds to ensure that we move forward, and all these mechanisms will be able to work, to go back to their areas of work, and particularly those who are participating in the CTC, in system VM, and as you promised, that even in our JMEC meeting, Honorable Chair of NTC would like you also to attend our JMEC meetings, because this is important that we support plenary meetings, we support citizen, so that we can move forward as a country. We as JMEC, we would like to see success in the implementation of this particular Chapter 2. And Chapter 2, if Chapter 2 succeeds, everything else will fall in place. The future of this country really depends on the success of Chapter 2. Because if we have a unified force under one commander-in-chief, one CDF, a military that is loyal to the Constitution of the Republic and to the country, but not to individuals, it will not matter whoever becomes the leader of the country. The military focuses on the loyalty to the Constitution and to the country, and of course to the commander-in-chief of the day. And that is the only way we can move forward and join the community of nations, our neighbors, the way we all operate as militaries, that we are part of the country, but we are also focused to ensure that we secure our country. Also need to emphasize, Chair, that all the mechanisms would also need to have total support, and particularly even the SDSR board, which we would like to see their progress also. And also the DDR. As we talk about unification, DDR is something that we need to think about critically, because those who will not be able to be eligible for the unification, they have to go to DDR. And as we move around and organize and get the nitty-gritties of the implementation of this agreement, DDR should be part of it, so that we know how to deal with those soldiers who will not be able to be eligible to join the forces, and also the officers who will not be able to move forward. I also want to thank those officers who will be able to leave space for the others. This is a sacrifice that we have to make, all of us, as we remember that there are those who have made the supreme sacrifice for this country. So even creating space for another general is much less a sacrifice than that supreme sacrifice that someone laid down his life for this country. I want also to mention that as we move forward, let us develop that camaraderie, that esprit de corps, that which makes militaries move forward. I think it will be a disaster if we move backward. Whatever it is that we have achieved, let us try to move forward. In the military, we say you achieve a toehold, then a foothold, then you capture the beach. You are attacking from the river, or you're attacking from the ocean. You have captured the toehold. Let us move forward. We capture the foothold, and then we capture the entire beach. Then we capture the terrain. This is the only way we can move forward. I think let us build on the positive side of this. Let us look on the side that the cup is half full, not half empty. And then we develop that. And because I've seen there is good dialogue between the leadership, and now we need to move forward on that. Let us not slide backwards. Let us also hold back those other feelings that we have, that we think that's not yet. But I think it's good to develop what we have achieved, and we move forward. And I appreciate Honorable Chair for this effort. I know you have done a lot of work, not only even for South Sudan, also for Sudan, and we thank you for that effort. Indeed, God has blessed you with a lot of ability to do all this, and I hope history will judge you well when we move forward and say that this country has stabilized and the military is unified. I think we who are working now in the transition military, the legacy for us is a unification of the forces. Even if you retire after the agreement has ended, I think you go down in history as that particular general who served in the transition, and you are able to make sure that there is one military for this country that will protect this country and the country move forward for elections. As chair of our JMEC, we are not only, of course, focused on Chapter 2, we also focus on other chapters. But as you know, all these chapters are interlinked, and moving forward for Chapter 2 is good for us. But again, it also opens the positiveness of other chapters. As you are aware that we have a very short time left before the end of the transition period, we also urge the authorities here to be able to support even other chapters. And even particularly, for example, now we have the NCAC, which is beginning to work. And I know the nationals also need to be supported by the NTC. I think also we need to look into that so that we holistically support this agreement to the end. And I believe that whatever period that is left, if the leadership sits down and agrees on the way forward, well, now they will manage what is left that's not been implemented. They can come up with a strategy on how they will fit what is not implemented, the timelines, and it is up to them to decide on the way forward. We, as JMEC, we have a responsibility. We have a mandate to ensure that we want to see this progress happening, and we have a mandate to ask questions on why it is not happening. And therefore, we would seek to know what is the way forward on the other chapters, or even on this Chapter 2, as we now have only 10 months left before the end of the transition period. So these are the questions that we pose, and I believe Chair here of NTC and the leadership will be able to look into this as we look forward to this. I want to thank Chair, and I thank you for promising me that you'll attend our RJMEC meeting, the next one and beyond. Thank you very much. Transition period. So these are the questions that we pose, and I believe Chair here of NTC and the leadership will be able to look into this as we look forward to this. I want to thank Chair, and I thank you for promising me that you'll attend our RJMEC meeting, the next one and beyond. Thank you very much.